Morning, everyone. My name is Yiran, and I am a member of Alibaba.com team, and I'm actually based in our New York office. Today, my topic here, we're going to talk about trade assurance. Before I start, I want to do a quick poll. How many of you have heard of trade assurance? Awesome. And how many of you have used trade assurance? Okay, I saw a few hands here. So it sounds like not everyone, a lot of you have heard of trade assurance, but not a lot of you have used it. And I'm hoping that my session today will help you understand a little bit more about how trade assurance work and how it protects your orders on Alibaba, because this is like a core service, a core protection that we provide on Alibaba.com. So the way we work today, so we have 40 minutes today, and I'm going to spend probably 15-20 minutes to talk about the trade assurance, how it works, the overview, and then we have the panel discussion, and then we have two amazing buyers here, and they're going to share their stories with everyone here. All right. Cool. So these are just a bunch of data. I don't really think that it is important to you guys, but I do want to call out the fact that like last year when I was here doing this presentation, we only had like a 35 million buyers, and this year, as you can see here, like the number changed to 50 million. So that really tells you that how many buyers have come to Alibaba just over a year, and how many of you have used us and trusted us. So in terms of the suppliers, we have over 200,000 suppliers globally. And as you might know, that most of them are from China, but also we have a lot of suppliers from other part of the world. We're constantly expanding our footprint in Mexico, in Latin America. We have a lot of suppliers in Europe, in Africa. So I think in the future, when you come to Alibaba, our goal is to help you find suppliers globally. And I want to talk a little bit more about how we design trade assurance. Actually, the funny, interesting fact about trade assurance is that this year is our 10th anniversary of trade assurance. And 10 years ago, when the founders of trade assurance designed this program, the problems they had in mind is that they want to design a program that really address on our buyers' pain point. And back then, a lot of pain points were about the risk, right? Like the payment risk. How do you know that this is not a scam? How do you know that the payment can reach by a supplier's account in time so they start producing your products, right? And then there were still right now, there's a lot of uncertainties, especially when it comes to shipping, right? How do you know that you can get your products in time so you can put up on your shelf to start selling them? And minimum support, right? If you don't work with a supplier on Alibaba.com, you probably you are on your own, you're solely relying on a supplier's goodwill when there are issues or problems. So that's why our founders of trade assurance built this program so that we give you the payment security, we give you the trust and confidence that you're going to get your products in time. And most importantly, that you're going to get the platform support. And we have an awesome dedicated customer support team based in China, and they're super helpful. The satisfaction score actually has been pretty high. And then whenever you have a problem, our customer support team is always there, is 24/7 to help you. And then I want to talk a little bit about how trade assurance work. So the way it works is that your payment isn't just floating around out there, and actually is securely held in the Alibaba.com escrow account. So you give us the green light, right? After you pay for the order and you receive it, you open the box, you check everything, right? And then you say, okay, this is great, this is what I ordered, and then you give us a green light, and that's when we release the fund from our escrow account to the supplier. That's when the suppliers receive the money. So exactly how it works is a 4-step process. So first, of course, you start a trade assurance order. I want to talk a little bit about how to really start the trade assurance order, because yesterday I was talking to a buyer at the main stage, and he was like, I don't know how to use trade assurance. It's actually really easy. And then you look for this yellow logo here. This is like a badge, yellow badge. You look for it on our website. If a supplier has this logo, then that means that the suppliers, they support trade assurance. And make sure that you work with the suppliers that support trade assurance. That's how we protect you. And the way that you place order, it doesn't really matter. As long as you place an order with a supplier that's under trade assurance, and you make sure that you pay your order on Alibaba.com, that's very important, because over the years I've constantly heard from our buyers. They're like, I receive a payment link from the supplier on Alibaba, right? And then I thought I paid on Alibaba.com, but actually it went directly to the supplier. Things like that can happen, so that's why I want every one of you here be cautious about it and make sure that it's always that you pay on Alibaba.com, and that's the link from Alibaba. And of course, things like that, the example that I just gave you guys, things like that, happen less and less often, but still I want every one of you to be cautious about it. And so, okay, so you pay through Alibaba and you confirm your delivery. That's when we release the fund to the supplier. And lastly, you can get your money back if, the order terms are not met. And here I also want to call out some, I would say some practical tips, right? So I was talking to a buyer, another buyer yesterday, and he's like, I placed a trade assurance order, and I bought a solar panel, and I thought the solar panel was all one size, so I didn't ask. Then I didn't say anything in the contract, and the solar panel came, and it's not the size that I expected to be, and it's the solar panel that was designed to use in the farm, so that's taller than him, so he can now use it. So he asked for our opinion, how can we help him get a refund? So I think first of all, you really have to, when you're drafting the order, when you're negotiating with the suppliers, make sure that you talk to the suppliers and ask them specifically, ask all the detailed questions, right? The size, how big is it gonna be? The colors, what exactly is the colors gonna be, right? And the material, the thickness, everything. Make sure that you put as many details as possible in the contract, and that's how we can protect you. Otherwise, in that person's case, it's going to be a little tricky, right? So the buyer assumed that everything, all the solar panels, just one size, but actually it's not true. So, but I'm sure that our customer support team will help you. He already gave us our the order number, so we're going to just take a look and help him get a refund back. But a little hiccups like that doesn't need to happen, right? So as long as we be cautious, be very specific when you're drafting orders with the suppliers, I think everything can be avoided. And some common misconceptions here about the trade assurance. So over the years, we've spoken to a lot of buyers, and like many of you here, you've heard of Alibaba trade assurance, but you've never used it. And that's why, I want to clear those things up. There are apparently some misconceptions here about trade assurance. So it's provided by Alibaba.com. It's not an add-on service, and it's not provided by any individual suppliers, and it's completely free. It comes at no extra cost. And now I'm gonna just dive in and into every single aspect of trade assurance, because as you can see from this journey, that trade assurance covers every single step of your sourcing journey, from order to payment to value-added service and to after-sales protection. So I will start with payment. So payment is important because, we want to make sure that we provide the right payment options for you, right? Some of you, like, even this is a sample order, right? A $10 sample order, or up to like $100,000 big bulk order. We want to make sure we have the right payment method for you. So that's why we recently, over the years, like, we added a lot of new payment methods. That total, as you can see globally, we have over 40 different ways to pay. And when it comes to online digital payment, so you can, of course, use your credit card, but also we've introduced I'm going to talk in my next slide, the buy now, pay later that you can use if you want to pay in 3 or 4 installments. And also separately, if your transaction is like large, right? And then you might want to consider using offline payment like international wire transfer. So this is also supported by trade assurance. So I want to clear those up. So it's not like trade assurance only covers online payment method. We also cover international wire transfer. As long as you make that transaction on Alibaba, and you're going to be covered. So buy now, pay later. We've introduced a lot of buy now, pay later partners to our platform fairly recently. I would say over the past 1 or 2 years. As you can see here now, for our U.S. buyers, you can use PayPal Pay Later, Klarna, and Afterpay. So these are for transactions that are less than $2,000. But next month, so this is new, so we're gonna increase increase the limit. So if your transactions are less than $4,000, then you will be able to use the buy now, pay later options. And for larger transactions, there is another way, actually. I'm sure you are familiar with this already. So this is a business credit card that's is going to be launched on Alibaba.com really soon this fall. So what's awesome about this credit card is that, of course, no brainer. If you buy a lot on Alibaba, right, you get 3% cash back. That's just free money. Why not? And then you can also choose, if you prefer not to get the 3% cash back, you can choose actually to get the, sorry, there's a typo there, but you can choose the 60-day payment terms. So it's an either or option, but we give you the options. And then on top of that, you get 2% cash back on categories outside of Alibaba. So 3% is just the purchases you make on Alibaba, and 2% for purchases outside of Alibaba platform. So I think that's a pretty rewarding credit card. And another thing that comes with this credit card is very unique to this credit card is the order protection. So for now, the trade assurance order protection is good for 30 days. So what does it mean is that you have to claim or start a refund within 30 days of the delivery date. So that's very important because I know a lot of you probably wait for too long to open up the package and then realize something is wrong, right? And then it falls outside of the 30-day window. And things like that does happen. So that's why it's make this card really awesome. So we automatically extend this order protection window from 30 days to 90 days. And that was a payment. I want to switch gear a little bit and talk about protections. So these are all the protections that we provide under trade assurance. So as you can see, on-time dispatch guarantee, on-time delivery guarantee, loss and damage coverage, easy return, and the last one is new, is coming in fall, and it might be related to you. I'm going to explain a little bit why, and it's the warranty for application and equipment. So let's dive into each one of them. So online dispatch and online delivery guarantee, has any of you used it or got the compensation? No. Okay, I'm gonna explain. So this is really to protect you when your shipment got delayed, right? Whether it's a 1 day delay or 10-day delay, it doesn't matter. As long as delayed is like it got arrived later than the promised delivery date, and then you can come to Alibaba, claim for this compensation, and then it's a coupon that you can use for future. So Jessica actually is a buyer that I talked to last year. So she owns a jewelry store in the US. And then she, I think last year is Valentine's Day, she bought some like necklaces
So if there's a lot,
for her to sell
so it's
at
okay
her
for me to
store
switch
for the Valentine's Day. And those necklaces, I think that she mentioned got
but you're also
delayed
showing.
for like maybe just 1 or 2 days, but she was able to get the like a 10% coupon for that delay. Then she was able to use it towards her future order.
So you want to
And loss and damage coverage. I know a lot of times when you order, especially fragile items, is super easy during like the process. It's super easy to get damaged, right? So that's why we have the loss and damage coverage. So if you find that your products got damaged during shipping, then you can get opt for a full refund for that damage. So I think this is really amazing that it really protects you. So you can use that refund and quickly reorder, right? So Sarah is someone that I talked to earlier this year, and she owns a small home decor business online. And then she actually bought some customized vases from China from one of the suppliers on Alibaba.com. And then, of course, vases, they can break sometimes. So actually, some of the vases were broken during shipping, and then she found that out, and then she was able to get the refund and was able to use that money, just put a quick reorder, and then that's how we help her resolve this issue. And easy return and refund. This thing is awesome. This thing, why we're doing it, because we really want to match our return experience with, say, Amazon, right? We all use Amazon. We know how awesome their experience, how easy it is, right? So with this easy return, I would say it is pretty much very the same. So how it works is that, okay, so if for defective products, and for orders that they make wrong quality issues, and you start the refund, you start this claim process, and you can just easily drop the products at the local drop-off location. So we have 4,700 drop-off locations here in the U.S. Actually, there are UPS locations. So I'm sure that you know some UPS locations near you, right? So it's super easy. And the easy return, I feel like this is something that I talk to a lot of buyers. They used it. They're like the process is just like a breeze. You don't really think about, okay, do I have to ship it back to China, because that's the case before, right?
I can switch.
When you have to negotiate with the suppliers, you have to be like, okay, the supplier great for a refund, but you have to ship the products back to China, and who is going to pay for the shipping back to China, right? That's not going to happen if you buy products that's covered by easy return.
Tighter.
All right, so this one is new, is coming sometime this fall. The 1-year warranty for equipment, it can be related to you, because if you look at the industries, sounds very industrial, but actually it's not. So let me give you an example. If you see one of the suppliers over there, they have an awesome DTF printer, right? So if you own an apparel business, you probably are familiar with the DTF printer. You use it to print the t-shirt, to customize the designs on the t-shirt and stuff. So DTF printer actually falls in this category. I'll give you another example. If you own like the food business, right? You might probably want to think about buying a food processing small machine, right? That also fall under this category. So it's not like the tractor, that kind of like a heavy industrial machines and equipment that's covered by this. Like smaller items, things that you might not think of might also be eligible to be covered by this 1-year warranty. So how it works is that, okay, so we know that things can break, right? Especially when it comes to equipment. And I know that a lot of you might not have that expertise to, first of all, you need the parts to replace the parts, right? You need replacement. And once you have the replacement, you might wonder, okay, how do I put this on, right? So a lot of you might not have the right expertise to do that. That's why we designed this. So first of all, the replacement part is completely free. You don't have, even the shipping is free. So you don't have to worry about the cost. Well, we cover the cost, supplier cover the cost, we co-share that cost. For buyers, you don't really have to worry about it. It's completely free. And once you receive the replacement part, and you're gonna wonder, okay, how do I put it on, right? So we have two options for you. First option, you can have like a virtual, online instruction call with like the supplier that you work with, right? They can tell you over the Zoom call how to put this on. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, or you feel like, okay, I still don't know how to do it myself, and then you can find a local technician yourself. And then we, Alibaba.com, pay for that cost, for the labor cost, for the technician to come to fix it. We pay for that labor cost for you. And then this warranty is a service provided by Trade Assurance, and it's good for 12 months. All right, so after everything I talk about the Trade Assurance, I want to talk about Alibaba Guarantee. I know that a lot of people are already talked about Alibaba Guarantee, including our CEO yesterday at the main stage. So I want to quickly just touch upon a little bit about what that is, just in case, you know. So Alibaba Guarantee, we guarantee that your products are delivered by the promised date. Otherwise, like I mentioned earlier, you get compensation for that. And we guarantee that you get your money back. Is actually part of the easy return. So if you buy the products that's covered by Alibaba Guarantee, and then automatically you can just assume that you have this guaranteed money back policy here. And then we've constantly making improvements for Alibaba Guarantee products. So as you can see here, the product eligibility perspective, we expanded the product eligibility from the previous 5% to actually now 30%. And the refund processing time also shortened by almost 50%. And the US local drop-off experience is extremely easy. You just drop it off at the local drop-off location. And then the compensation commitments, previously you can see here, the commitments was only offered for delayed deliveries, but now we expanded it, and then you're eligible for compensation if your delivery is delayed, lost, or damaged. So that's it. That's a really quick look of the Alibaba Guarantee. But overall, I hope I give you guys a better picture of what Trade Assurance is, right? Because it's really awesome. You should definitely utilize it. Look for the Trade Assurance logo when you look for suppliers. That's extremely important. And now we're gonna have two awesome buyers of Alibaba that are gonna come on stage, and then they're gonna share their stories, how they grow their business. Hopefully that will give you guys a lot of inspirations and a lot of the helpful tips. Christina, I'm also with Alibaba.com in our New York office, lead our buyer growth tech solutions. And today our session is about Trade Assurance. Before I get started, I wanted to actually take a very quick poll. So how many of you guys here have started your business? Awesome. And how many of you guys are thinking about starting a business? Great, we have an awesome mix. So it's very exciting because today we actually have two very inspiring entrepreneurs here with us. to share a bit more about their journeys of starting businesses and especially how trade assurance played a part in helping them when it comes to sourcing on Alibaba.com. So before I get started, let me just quickly introduce you guys the panel we have today. So first we have Paul Dzurec, Chief Party Officer at 30-Second Dance Company. And we also have Zach Thomas, President and Founder of Swift Hockey. Lastly, we also have our beloved Yiran Li, our Director of Buyer Market Growth at Alibaba.com. So let's get started. First, Paul, the first question. Please tell us a bit more about yourself, your business, and please tell us what is a Chief Party Officer?
That's a good question. This is working right, yeah. Chief Party Officer is an indication that we're ready to party. So the 30-Second Dance Party, the idea of it is to get people motivated to get up and move, especially in classrooms, kids, and things like that. And it's used for brain breaks and for just giving kids a reward so that they focus and they do better in the classroom. And I've been with 30-Second Dance Party for a couple of years, and my partner Brian is here as well. He's the mastermind behind the whole thing. And then prior to that, I've been working with C12 Technology in South Carolina, where we did our own domestic manufacturing. So both companies we have manufacturing that we do, and we've done it domestically and abroad. So I can speak to some of these topics quite cleanly today, which I think will be helpful.
Awesome. And also, Zach, please tell us a bit more about yourself and your business. I know you started your business quite young, so please share your journey with us.
I started my business 2 years ago, my major business, Swift Hockey. I was a former professional hockey player, so I traveled all over the globe playing hockey, learning different experiences and seeing hockey all over the place. And the biggest thing in hockey is hockey sticks are very expensive overall. So I decided to make a product that's going to help hockey be more inclusive for players in general and players that look like me.
That's awesome. I consider myself super blessed because I get to talk to so many different entrepreneurs in my day-to-day life, and I also met so many great people in CoCreate this year. And I think it's super inspiring when it comes to hearing people started their business super young, at a very young age, even before they went to college. So that's definitely awesome. So I know both of you guys have used Alibaba for a number of years. Could you guys share a bit more about how do you stumble upon us in the first place, and how has Alibaba.com helped you transform your business and help you simplify your sourcing?
Yeah, so excuse me. Like I said, we've done domestic manufacturing and then also global manufacturing, and the value with Alibaba, which we heard from just somebody mentioned it and it doesn't seem like that can't be a real thing, but so it's the whole idea of having a clearinghouse. So what we're buying through Alibaba initially were pieces that we could either have manufactured domestically, or we can have it done somewhere else, and it's a design that we made ourselves. We do all of our own tooling. But when we were working with carbon fiber products, we needed just the component to hold the two sides of the paddle together. Everything else was done here. And the challenge is finding one that locks in the perfect way. It was a component piece of the product that needed to be machined in a specific way, and it needed to be put into in the tooling the specific way. And we weren't able to find partners to build these for us anywhere, either internationally or in a way that was going to be affordable to keep the costs down of the product. And so then when we went through Alibaba, we felt like we were taking, the risk was sort of coming off of our shoulders, because if that really specific piece was not manufactured the correct way, we knew we could go back to Alibaba and it would be addressed quickly and we would be able to take care of it. I think when the badge isn't here now, but when that badge is on there that shows that there's the assurance piece, it makes things a lot simpler, because there's a certain standard that the manufacturers have to achieve to receive that badge, and it sort of allowed us to innovate and make changes. And even if it's a small piece, like we just need this 4 millimeters that way, something like that, we knew that we could make those changes with the samples. And as a result, when the back and forth was sort of minimized in terms of concern, and we were able to get things built much more quickly and in a way that we could continue production on our side, and then as soon as that piece arrives, we can just stick it right in. We don't have to worry about delays on that side.
That's great. I guess I do want to add one thing here, and this is also a question that we get a lot from buyers. So I hear people say all the time, Alibaba.com has so many informations. This feels like, too much information all at once. How do I make sure the information suppliers present on their site are accurate? So there's actually a lot of things that goes into it. So all the information and supplier qualifications are actually verified by our local staff globally by visiting their factories in person along with third-party inspectors to ensure all the informations are correct and accurate, and trade assurance then plays into a role to ensure that you're protected against any potential risk and delays and defect. So Zach, I guess I'll pass on to you to share a bit more about your journey with Alibaba.
For sure. So I've been using Alibaba for the last 5 years and creating many products and trying and testing many different products, and Alibaba was definitely the only source to do this on. I think from all you guys, and you guys have tried Alibaba, there's no other way of finding a supplier on the streets. It's impossible. So Alibaba is kind of that platform that kind of puts everything together for us. Especially me, I ran my company, I funded every part of my company, and it gives a lot of different ways to pay as well. I can pay through credit card rather than wire transfer, and it gives us a lot of different ways to run this business in a sense.
That's awesome. So I guess I'm also very curious, when you first started using Alibaba, how did you find and learn about trade assurance, and how does trade assurance then play a role when it comes to sourcing for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Trade assurance have definitely been the biggest piece for us. We create a product that's known to break, so quality and everything is super important with us. So trade assurance, especially when you don't have lots of funding, it kind of gives you that security as well, where you know what you're purchasing, and as well suppliers are going to put a lot more work into the product they're making for you. So it helps everything, and I think it helps business in general, and helps our business grow in every single way.
Awesome. Paul, do you have anything to add here?
I think the big piece is that we just know that those component parts that are in our products that we're actually selling, after everything is assembled, we know that those pieces are going to be made correctly, and if they're not, there's support there to make sure that it will be made correctly, or you'll, in some other way, will be made whole again.
Yeah, that's great. Like Yiran introduced earlier, the belief of giving birth to this trade assurance program, and is also because we know building trust is probably one of the first step and the most important step when it comes to finding a supplier, building that business relationship. So the foundation of trade assurance is to really help you take some risk off your shoulders, make you feel comfortable when it comes to starting a new relationship with a new supplier. So I do wanted to hear some challenges that you have faced when it comes to sourcing and doing business in cross-border fashion.
You want to go first, Dan?
Yeah, for sure. I guess our biggest challenges is that we had is obviously payment terms. I started this business when I was 18, and obviously don't have a lot of capital to play with. So the payment terms were probably the biggest struggle in doing. We weren't able to do buy now, pay later during that time, and it was really hard for us to get a business rolling with the payment terms.
We've struggled to a certain extent at 30-Second Dance Party and previous companies as well, protecting our IP. And it's funny, in a lot of manufacturing, there's no reason to patent things, because as soon as you patent something, then all the ingredients and all the parts are listed out clearly, so somebody now has a recipe how to make your product. So finding a way to protect that, so we're avoiding copycats or people who, and of course we want competition, but we don't want people who are ripping off our product. And so this has been a challenge for us, and I think we're getting to the bottom of it, but at the same time, you just never know what's happening on the other side. If it's the same tools, or even if our tools that we've purchased are being used for something different, it's something we just like to know. So if it's a trusted supplier, that's very helpful.
Yeah, I want to quickly go back to Zechariah's previous point about the payment terms, I think that that's absolutely a biggest pain point that we hear, not from you, but from other buyers too, especially when you have to, like you said earlier that your like average order value is like more than $10,000, right? So that for larger transactions like that, payment terms is absolutely necessary. Buy now, pay later for now. We only for U.S. buyers, as you can only it's good for up to like $2,000. Next year, next month we'll increase it to $4,000. But still, that's not enough for your case, right? For Canada, it's going to be $2,000 since you're based in Canada. So, so payment terms, we hear that pain point, and we're actually literally talking to a lot of the payment terms providers at this venue and also outside. Next week actually we're going to travel to San Francisco to meet with different vendors, and so hopefully we're going to bring back payment terms.
For sure.
Yeah, and I guess I'll also touch on some of the points here. Definitely make sure that your transactions happens on Alibaba.com, because when there is dispute, and I do know some terrible things could potentially happen, but if your transaction is with us, there is a lot more that we can do compared to, if you just wire your money directly to your suppliers, then there isn't much we can do. We can definitely intervene, and there are mechanisms that we have in place to penalize the suppliers on the platform, but there's a lot more that we can do if it's a transaction that goes through our escrow account. So I have a last question here before we open up for the Q&A. So if you guys can create a wish list for things that's coming to Alibaba.com, what would that be, and how would you want us to help you improve your experience with us?
I've hit on that IP part already in avoiding counterfeit items. This is something that I think is on us a lot as well. So if there are experts that are Alibaba, they could help us either write contracts or whatever we need to do, but the webinars, some type of information, grouping, whatever it is, webinars or like an encyclopedia or something, but make sure that you're doing all these things to avoid that infringement on IP and to protect yourself. I think that's the biggest thing for us right now, just because it's dipping into our profits. And I think we can, because we're a company that's here to stay, we're not just here for 6 weeks. We want to make sure we're maintaining the solid market share, and we don't have people coming to our page and giving us poor reviews because they didn't even buy our product. They bought it from somebody else, because that's costing us not only on the sales side, but then also it's costing us time helping manage customer concerns that aren't even our customer.
What about you?
For sure. So I guess with our wish list, as I said a couple times, it's obviously the payment terms again. With our product, we have to wait roughly 60 days before it's delivered, and we have to pay up front. So that kind of removes and ruins all of our cash flow during those times. So that's probably the biggest and only thing. But other than that, Alibaba I have nothing else to say. So.
Awesome, thank you guys. And I do wanted to say and share that we have a lot of office now here in the US. Yiran and I are based in New York, and we also have office in Sunnyvale, Pasadena. And the reason behind having local offices is really to have a team on the ground to hear about customer feedbacks. And we also have CoCreate, and this is our second annual CoCreate event, to really meet with our buyers, hear about your feedbacks. Last year, we don't have as many buy now, pay later product, and this year we're launching a credit card to offer to our customers, only because you guys are here and sharing all those feedback with us, and we take them very seriously. So with that being said, I do wanted to open up for the floor for any questions.
Yeah, no, for sure, that works. I think kind of doing that incentive type of situation with the supplier is definitely really good. That they'll see that your product is actually going to be something that's going to scale long term. So they'll put a lot of work and a lot more effort and more time into what they're building for you. So I think that would be the most major point with that. Where if they see the marketing's backing it, they would trust your product and know that you have something that you're going to stay with them. For sure, it's a mix of both. I think it gives multiple scenarios for what's going on. For us, we just send a drawing of what we want, and I can draw it myself, and they'll design the whole thing, and they'll kind of do the whole process like that. So it's really good in that sense.
And just real quick, I would not take orders. Maybe take a deposit before you have a working prototype or something that you can build quickly, because the last thing you want is 10,000 people who want their product and it's not going to be here until June. It's just a customer support nightmare. And so I would take deposits, 10%, 50% deposit, but tell people we don't know when it's going to be ready and it's coming. Just to, it can get really tricky, especially when you're working with a global manufacturing process. It can be a few different ways it can go through the manufacturer, or you can, it's something you want to discuss with them. Yeah, because they're going to be the ones who are responsible. They're the ones who are putting the way bills on there, so they're going to be probably responsible for it, but you can also pay when it gets here.
Do we have any more questions?
Yes. Right. So for the products that's under those categories, then you will see a logo on their product listing page, and then if you see the 1-year warranty phrase on the product listing page, then you know for sure it's covered. So it's like, yeah. So those categories, but still check for the specific term.
Okay, so I think we're kind of short on time, but my team and Yiran will also be here in this room in case there's any questions. We can also take them in this room. But thank you all so much for being here at CoCreate and also at this session. I know you probably learned a lot about all the value-adding services that we offer at Alibaba.com, but I do have to say, Trade Assurance do sits at the center of our value-adding services. It is a transformational product on Alibaba.com that really transformed us from a yellow page listing page to a transactional page. So next time where you're sourcing from us, definitely do consider using the Trade Assurance product to protect yourself against delays and defect. And thank you guys.